table topics is quick thinking. What you have to do is come here to the front, speak from 1 to 2 minutes on the question I'm going to give you, or the idea I'm going to give you, and then try to do your best when you speak here in the front. The ideas I'm going to give you doesn't have to be on your personal life. They could be imaginary, so try to not to take it like a personal question. Sometimes you can be thinking like this is more in an imaginary form. So that's the way I like you to think about table topics. And please today try to wear your hats like they were dyed, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, like crowns on your head. So the first question I'm going to have is going to be for one of our most experienced members. It's one of the members who actually won the contest recently at the division, not division, but division. Actually, it was a division. Yes, the division contest. And this is for James. If you can please come to the front. This is going to be fun. Okay. What I'd like you to do is go either, I need you to pick up a hat from the back or from the one you're wearing and try to sell it. Try to sell the hat to the rest of the persons. Why is it wonderful? What is it about it? You can choose your own, or you can go to the back and choose one. Either way. It's your pick. I want to go for the back. Okay. Pick up any hat. Yes. So this is what I'm trying to sell the hat. James Herbert. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. What we have here is the best thing since sliced bread. It's the best thing since Swiss cheese, and I want you guys all to hear this. What I have is a 2013 model, silk, curve and lathe, bona fide hat. I think this was worn once by the Queen Elizabeth. So what I was thinking about doing initially was I was thinking about putting this on eBay. And then I had the thought, why not auction it off? I know a fine group of folks that have a lot of money, by the way, that would just love to get a hold of this hat. This hat, before Queen Elizabeth had it, I think Michael Jackson's mother actually wore it. So it has a lineage behind it, and you guys are not going to miss out on this hat. Now, first of all, what I like to do is I like to start the bidding out at $100,000. Can I get $100,000? Chanel, that's what I'm talking about, buddy. All right, great. 100,000. Can I get 200,000? 200,000. You guys are just rich. I'm going to collect that class. Sold to the man in the cat in the hat for $200. And thank you very much for your offer, and we appreciate this. All right?
That was a wonderful sale for the rest of the people here. Yes. As you can see, that was a very fun question. Now, the next question is also for another experienced member of our team. And this is Steve Murphy. You please come to the front. And the question is, what are your favorite hats and why? Your favorite hats and why? Explain to us.
Thank you very
Steve.
much, Mark. My favorite hat is the one that I'm wearing right now. For those of you in the back, you may not be able to tell it's a baseball hat. Warthogs. And to me, it means so much because the child who gave it to me. See, I was working at a camp in upstate New York with kids with disabilities. They didn't always feel special. They didn't always feel connected to their other kids. But we brought them together once a year so all these kids with disabilities could join forces and realize that it's power in themselves and others, no matter what their disability was. And we decided to create a baseball team for them. And we, of course, needed a name. And one of the kids, who's perhaps discouraged or whatnot, he said, I feel bad, I feel so fat, I feel like a warthog. And that became the name of the team, the Warthogs. And I'm happy to report that this kid really had a change in heart. And he lost some weight as he was running those bases. And the Warthog name became a name of pride that all those kids still carry with them today in their baseball team. So that is why this Warthogs baseball cap is important to me. Because I appreciate that kid and the lesson that he taught us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for telling us about your favorite hat. Now, what I'd like to do is to call one of our guests. You don't have to accept, of course, you don't feel comfortable coming here to the front and tell us, speak for 1 or 2 minutes. Just please tell me what I'd like to call our guests and give you the opportunity to actually speak for tonight. The first guest I would like to call is Lorraine. Would you like to come to the front? Hopefully this is a fun question for you. If you could design a hat in the future, what features would it have? If you could design a hat for the future, what features would it have?
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, if I could design a hat in the future or for the future, what qualities or characteristics would it have? Well, it's already been designed. Think back about 2 years ago when Prince William and Princess Kate got married. Do you recall that? And the 2 daughters of Sarah Ferguson had those unusual hats with they just tipped right on the front of their head, and they just had these scrolls, and it just looked ridiculous, and it got a lot of commentary, and it went viral. Well, I would design a hat in that shape. And the purpose of that hat would be so that when I'm in important places like Westminster Abbey, attending an important wedding, or when I'm out in the woods camping, I will always have with me a portable cell phone tower. And I will always get reception wherever I am if I need to make a quick call. So, it's already been designed, and that's what it would do. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much for telling us about future hats. I need to ask now our Toastmaster if we have time for one more.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. I'd like to call another guest for today. And sorry, I didn't get to see your name.
Will.
Will, would you like to come to the front? Hopefully this is a fun question for you. Whoa. This is an imaginary question. It's not a personal question.
Okay.
Just think imaginary. Let's say you are a politician and you have to enforce wearing a hat in public. What reasons would you give to the general persons to wear a hat in public? What would you force to wear a hat in public? Will?
Table masters. The reasons I would give would be the sun is constantly giving us skin cancer and other diseases, and the best way to protect yourself in general society is to wear a hat. You will now be obligated to do this. You don't have a choice. You must wear a hat at all times. If you call without a hat, you will go to jail. The reasoning behind this is, like I said, to protect yourself against the sun. We're constantly hearing about different types of skin cancer that you can get, and this is just one way that Big Brother can once again hold you back. Well, I don't really know.
thank you very much. That was a really fun question for you.
Do you have another one?
I have another one. But,
Okay, yeah, we have time.
You have time.
We have time.
okay, now I'd like to call another guest for tonight. Sure. Chris, would you like to come to the front? Chris, thank you very much. I'd like you to pick the hat you like the most today. And tell us the reasons why you like it. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Tabletop Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. My favorite hat here tonight is kind of described as ostentatious. There are a lot of great hats here, but one just screams out diadem to me. And I've been itching to wear this since I've gotten it. Laura, may I have the honors?
Absolutely.
Oh.
You're going to get a hat head.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about my hairdo, is it just shows everything. But you know, I have always wanted to go to the Kentucky Derby. Just to dress up all fancy and prance around. And, you know, the green just brings out the green in my eyes so well. That's my favorite color. And so I do thank you for trading with me this evening so that I can enjoy this wonderful hat. That is going to cost you. Yeah, because, well, you know, in my hat, I think you look better than me. But the same goes true for your hat. You look better than me.
Please, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tabletop Master.
I'd just like to repeat the names of the people that contested tonight. Before I do that, I'd like to call the times to our timekeeper, which is Tim Small. Could you give us a time report for the table topics, please?
For James, he spoke for 1 minute, 16 seconds. Stephen spoke for 1 minute and 23 seconds. Laura Ann spoke for 1 minute and 2 seconds. Will spoke for 1 minute and 2 seconds. And Chris spoke for 1 minute and 2 seconds.
Okay. So that means that all of them qualify for the table topics. Please put the name of the person you think was the best in table topics and have the ballot to Tim. If you don't have a ballot, please raise your hand and I can give you one. All right. Looks like everybody has a ballot. With that, I conclude table topics. I'd like to return control to our toast mistress of the day, Laura.
Thank you. And we also need to get a timers report for our speeches, Tim, if you would.
All right. For Chanel, he spoke for 6 minutes and 58 seconds. And Deanne spoke for 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Which is 10 seconds. Unless we want to give her 10 seconds grace period.
What do we say?
She spoke for 7 minutes and 30 seconds.
7 minutes and 30 seconds, exactly. So please turn in your votes, either Chanel or Deanne, and you can forward those on to Tim. Let's begin this hat. It was originally a white hat, and then I sewed on the green ribbon, and then I added the flowers, which kind of reminds me of Toastmasters. When we give evaluations, it's in the good, better, best mode. The speech was good, this would make it even better, and this would make it the best. So with that, I'm going to introduce our general evaluator of the night, who is Tim Trumbull. And for him, speaking is old hat. He is a radio personality, and he is going to give us some feedback on our meeting and the speeches.
Thank you, Laura. Good evening, everyone. Feedback is, for many people, the key part of Toastmasters meeting, where we get that information coming back at us in a way that we know we can handle. great thing about Toastmasters is it's always positive feedback. It's never, you know what you did wrong. I'll talk to you about that later, but it's never that kind of feedback, because that's not feedback, that's criticism of the worst kind. It's always, here's what you did well, and here's how you can do it even better next time. That's one of the great things about the Toastmasters program in general. And we have two outstanding evaluators to evaluate tonight's two prepared speeches. First off, to evaluate Shamil's speech, please welcome John Dickerson.
What I would like to first do is, since we didn't have a hat trick, I'd like to tell you about a different type of hat trick. There's different purposes for hats, and I want to think of three. One, it can remind you of where you've been. I went to Key West, as you can see. Another thing it can do is it can match some of what you're wearing. A Clemson shirt with a tie. And another thing is it can match the theme of your shirt. You know, this is a fishing shirt. So I've got a fishing hat. A Bass Pro Shop hat. So, but if you want to wear it like a diadem in your fishing, you have to wear it like that. So, Shamil's speech, his purpose was to research his speech well. And what I think is a challenge when you're researching is to be thorough, but still be interesting. Well, you can just unload a lot of data, and everybody would fall asleep. So, just a few of the criteria, and then I will evaluate. I think it was a great speech. How well did it apply? I thought it was great. How many times do you forget people's names? All the time. What's your name? Was it well researched? She had Dale Carnegie, different examples. Thought she did a great job of giving us specific people's quotes and such. Did it support the main topics? She supported that great. Did you vary the types of material? I thought you did a good job of that. Because in your 3 points, which were to use repetition, phonetically correct, which is a great application to your name. When I went to Guatemala, they used clicks in their languages. So I thought that was fascinating. That's a great example. And then using your imagination. I thought that's a very freeing thing to do. How do you remember somebody's name? Make a connection. Apply it to a song, apply it to something else that's interesting. So I thought that was a great way to use your supporting material. How clear was your purpose? Very clear. How well organized was it? Very. You started out, you told us what the purpose was, you got us engaged immediately. You said, how hard is it to remember names? We're like, yeah, and that stuff. So you got us involved immediately. You then went through your points, told us what they were, you gave good examples, and then you recapped. I thought you did a great job of doing that. Did you use body language and vocal variety? I mean, come on. You were dancing. Michael Jackson. I mean, was that great or what? I mean, that was super. I thought that was super. So I thought it was great. We had a great organization. I thought we did great research. I always want to give, is there anything that you can improve on? I think maybe you seem a little nervous, maybe a little more practice. A lot of times for me, if I'm feeling nervous with a speech, maybe I could have rehearsed it a little more, or maybe it wasn't as comfortable with material. That's the only suggestion I would have. What did I really like is that you were so animated, and you did great moonwalks. Great examples in that respect. So I thought it was a great speech. You did a great job, and I look forward to your next speech.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that excellent evaluation. I thought you were going to juggle those hats, though, for a moment. Our next evaluator will be evaluating Deanne's speech. Please welcome James Hubert.
All right. Today I'm evaluating Deanne's speech. I'm actually giving you a very good smile. Then when I first saw you walk into the room tonight, I saw you like Michael Jordan in the playoffs many years ago when he was sick and he was curled over and he was throwing up. He still went throughout the game and you know, he actually shot the winning shot. When you came in today, you had an awful injury on your back. I don't know exactly what's going on. She was bent over and she said, I don't know if I'm going to make it. But just like Michael Jordan, you actually came up front, you stood and delivered, and you shot the winning shot. So I just really applaud you for that, making it through it. And you actually stood up straight, so you made it work. Some of the notes on your speech, some of the positives, I told you about that. I think you projected a great voice when you actually spoke. I can tell you're actually used to speaking in the front. So you actually projected, and you could hear it very clearly. I was about 3 rows back, and I had no problems at all. You had great movement on the stage, even though you had a back injury. You did not stand in place. You moved around. That may be more of a natural thing for you, but keep that up. It definitely works when you're giving a speech. It doesn't make us bored by standing here in one place. You didn't hide, in other words. You actually came out and showed yourself. One phrase that I want to just bring back up that was just so awesome to me, you said, busyness is killing our hearts. And often we don't think about that, but it just hit me so powerful when you actually brought out that phrase. Because myself, I can make up a reason to not do something in a heartbeat. You know, especially if, well, I had a friend call me this week and actually help him move. I'm busy. I'm very busy. I got 20 different reasons, but he actually needs me to help him. And just because you actually put that, and I'm going to give him a call and tell him that we're going to make the time to help him. Because it's killing our hearts, really. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to have a heart. That's a friend of mine. Even though I don't move anybody. They think I'm a big guy and they like to make me go out. I really, really, really loved the video. It was right into your speech and it really worked well. I thought it was, I don't know if you put it together or if you pulled it. Well, it was very well put together. That's really awesome there. Okay. It made it more visual. The idea of stillness, it actually brought it home with the words that, I forget her name, I should have wrote it. Elena was saying. It was a great story on how, your story on how you overcame your business and you had to go away for 3 months. I can just imagine that. You know, I've been in a foreign country for a different reason, but just to get into a different atmosphere and just to get into a different environment and actually overcome that, that was a great story. If there were any negatives, which there were many, and I had to make up one because when we give some constructive feedback, I had a little trouble connecting the title with the actual speech. The speech was good. I mean, because I don't know if I read it wrong. Inspiration, the power of stillness. And that's just might be my dumbness. I was trying to put it all together, and I probably will tonight when I'm thinking I'll wake up in the middle of the night and say, oh, but I had trouble just putting it all together. Even though it was great, nothing was scrambled or anything, but I just had to put it in my mind again. So that's the only thing I can think of if we had any unpositive or not positive comments. But great job overall. Great.
Thank you very much, James. 2 outstanding evaluations this evening. Mr. Timer, can we have Timer's report, please?